Check this out. Hold it now. They say they give away big things. Yep. They say they give away more music. They even say they cover the tri-state. Come on. What they have is more commercials, less music, and sometimes a winner. We have it all. We're 107.7 and we got something for you. I told you. Check us for the 06. Blazing. 107.7.
You're listening to DJ Tree's Funhouse on 107.7 WFCS New Britain and Hartford. And I had the pleasure of speaking with Ryan Nicodemus, one of the producers of the award-winning documentary Minimalism, airing right now on Netflix. Ryan is also one of the leaders of the Minimalist movement. And I really encourage everyone to check out Minimalism while it's still on Netflix, because this is not just another episode of the show Hoarders. I mean, these guys really dig deep into things like advertising, why we feel the need to spend and buy and consume, and overall, how to live a more meaningful life with less. But Ryan explains minimalism much better than I do, so without further ado, here's my phone call with the minimalist himself, Ryan Nicodemus. All right, so let's get started. So I guess for the WFCS listeners out there, can you explain what minimalism is?
You know, minimalism it's the thing that helps us get past the things, which helps us to make room for life's most important things, which, turns out aren't things at all. I guess, if I had to give you like a one-sentence answer, I would say minimalism is living with intention.
Okay, and why is this important? What is the benefit of this type of lifestyle?
Well, I think that, in our society, it's just too often that we are, kind of bombarded with advertisements, or maybe it's not advertisements, maybe it's a reality TV show, or, maybe it's just a magazine that we're reading, and there's something that's, kind of soaking in there. Certainly on Facebook. I mean, you can't, scroll through Facebook without seeing something being advertised. Even if you have an ad blocker, they still somehow, manage to work stuff into your feed. And, at the end of the day, I think in this country, we have this amazing privilege of freedom and being able to do whatever we want with that freedom, with our time, with our attention, with all of our resources. And I think that when we have so many choices to choose from, we tend to think less intentionally and more impulsively when we make choices with those resources. I know I was certainly guilty of that. And I wish I could sit here and tell you, hey, if you buy all my books and watch our documentary, you'll be cured. You won't want anything ever again. It just doesn't work that way. But I can tell you over the last 6 years, I've certainly been able to live more intentionally, to, kind of curb those impulses and just live a meaningful life. And that, for me, is what it is really about.
But now, what you guys are doing really fights against something that we learn at birth. We are around advertising since we're born, and we hear it and we see it, and we don't even realize it. Where do you start? We look in our home and we say, okay, I want to try living with less, and how do you get started?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the advertisement towards kids has gotten exponentially more since you and I were kids.
Sure.
I mean, it was, in somewhere around like the 100,000 advertisements, per day or whatever it was on TV, the kids would see. They were targeted towards kids, and now it's up in the millions where advertisements are targeting kids. So yeah, certainly it's just getting worse and worse. I don't recommend that anyone just start throwing out stuff. I think that is probably the worst thing to do, because anyone could certainly go and rent a dumpster and clear out all their stuff and throw it in there, and then just sit in an empty apartment and sulk. And that's not what Josh and I are propagating. We're not stoics or we're not. We certainly don't encourage people to deprive themselves of all of their joys and luxuries. But really, for anyone out there who is looking to start a journey like this, or looking to implement this lifestyle, I think it's best that they start with this question: how might my life be better with less? And I think that that's the most important place to start, whether you're sitting in your car, whether you're sitting in your home. I think that's the most important place to start, because at the end of the day, if you don't know why you're minimizing, if people don't know why they are getting rid of their stuff, then, again, that can have a detrimental effect. I think getting to that, the why of the matter, that is really where people will find that leverage to start taking, first actions, to take those first action steps towards minimizing. When I first got introduced to minimalism, I didn't really know where to start. All I knew is that I needed to make a drastic change, and I wanted to do it in a way that really changed my state. So after having different conversations with Josh, we finally came up with this crazy idea of a packing party, where we decided to pack up everything in my 2,000 square foot condo, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 2 living rooms. I have no idea why I had 2 living rooms, but I maybe in case one caught fire or something, I'd have an extra one. But we literally decided to pack up everything in my condo and pretend that I was moving. So Josh came over to help me pack up my clothes, my kitchenware, my towels, my TVs, my electronics, my framed photographs and paintings, even my furniture, everything. We literally pretended like I was moving. So after 3 weeks of unpacking stuff, you can imagine that, the first day I'm unpacking my some clothes for work, my bed sheets, some toiletries, and, just throughout the weeks, some kitchen utensils, a tool set that I needed, just things that added value to my life. Well, after that experiment, I had about 80% of my stuff still sitting in those boxes. And I think that for me was like this big light bulb moment of, wow, like here's all this stuff I've brought into my life to make me happy. And over the last 3 weeks, it really hasn't been doing its job. So, for me, that was a great first step.
You guys speak openly about leaving your 6-figure salaries behind, ditching the corporate world, and chasing after what you guys are passionate about. And I think most of us would want to do that, but we would also look at you guys, if we were being totally honest, like you are absolutely crazy, because as much as we want to do that and people want to do what they're passionate about, most of the things we're passionate about just doesn't pay the bills. And we know that our 9-to-5 paychecks will cover that. How can you realistically fulfill your dreams or passions without giving up too much, without, bankrupting yourself or becoming a nomad or...
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly a balance there. I don't expect, I would say my biggest passion is snowboarding.
Okay.
I'm not going to be a professional snowboarder. I mean, unfortunately, I'm 35 years old. My back gets tweaked a lot easier. I hurt my shoulder. It doesn't heal in 6 weeks like it used to. It's more like 6 months now. Like I can look in the mirror and say, all right, Ryan, you're not going to be a professional snowboarder. But I am able to go out on the weekends. I'm able to go, 2 to 3 times a week. Like if I really, really push myself, I could go all week. I mean, I live 30 minutes from a nice little ski hill. But what I'm getting at is I think that for anyone to expect to wake up every single day writing to work on a rainbow and a unicorn, it's not a very plausible expectation. I think there is this thing in our society that says, if you find something you love, you'll never have to work a day in your life. And what I've learned over the last 6 years is it's kind of BS. Like I do exactly what I love. I write. I get to go out and talk. I get to be this amazing role model for other people. But I work my butt off. And I think that is really where, what it comes down to is it's not about, having a job that we wake up every single day and feel like we're not working. I think what it's about is working at a day job that aligns with our values and beliefs. My original plan was to go be a barista. Like I was making well over $100,000 a year, and I was like, man, if I could just get my lifestyle down to the point where I can live off of a barista's salary, then I can reclaim my time. And even though I'll have to work, 30, 40 hours a week as a barista, I would be gaining, 20, 30, 40 hours a week that I can invest in things that I was passionate about. I was, able to, I was hoping to be able to write more. I was hoping to be able to go snowboarding more. I mean, I had a snowboard I, used once or twice every other year because I just found myself so busy all the time. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is that no, I don't think that everyone should live with the expectation of here's my number one passion, and I'm going to do this for a living, and I'm going to make money out of it. There's two problems with that. First off, you're right. A lot of people's passions, it's hard to just dive into it and start making money. We all have to pay the bills and put a roof over our head. So doing that could potentially harm someone and bankrupt someone. The other thing, too, is when you go after your passion to make money, it can really, really kill the passion. Being able to get a paycheck from that, the reward is putting your time and effort into something that you really love and you really enjoy. And then once people have drudged that drudgery, like that is when the happiness will come. So yeah, like I'm not suggesting anyone just like quit their job and start a blog. That's the worst advice I could ever think of. But what I would say to people is that if they're living a life right now that does not give them time to focus on any of their passions, then yes, I would encourage them to start looking at what they're doing with their time and making that one of their priorities.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with me today. And I really hope that everybody does tune in and watch your documentary, because I mean it when I say it's a lifestyle change, and it's a message that people really need to hear and society needs to learn how to accept, because we are just going in the wrong direction when even you see what's happening with pollution. And I could go on and on about how we are just so wasteful as a society. And I really hope that people just wake up. And I think that you guys are on the right track.